So how did it all begin? Well, really, it was the Lord. There was no doubt about that. At 57, to venture out on a journey of faith such as we've been on for the last 20 years is just amazing. I cannot believe the goodness of God. 20 years ago, we were already doing a night shelter over a Christmas period, and there were about 30 people living under the pier. And the council came to us and said they're trying to get some European money to help different things in the town. And one of the things they were looking at was how to house homeless people. And they asked us if we would join them and help them with the knowledge that we had of homeless people in the town, which we willingly did. And I got to know the chief executive, Graham Haywood, quite well. And eventually we got £900,000 come through just to help homeless people. And I was over the moon, and I went to Graham and said, do you want us to help you to spend that money? And he said, no, we're the experts, we know how to spend it. And I've realised since, of course, local government do spend money. And although nothing was spent on the people under the pier, they did renovate properties above Lord Street shops and open a one-stop shop for people to go and find out where they could get rented accommodation. But personally, I felt really miffed. I was really sort of quite cross with the Almighty. I said, you know, we've spent all this time giving them information, and not one person from under the pier had got housed. And we prayed every morning, and because I'm old, I was taught by my pastor, read the scriptures every day and read them systematically. So we read the scriptures every day as we came to prayer. And that morning I came in and I was moaning at the Almighty. I don't suppose I'm like you, because I'm not a very good Christian in that way. I moan at the Almighty and said, Lord, it's not fair this has happened. And on that particular day, we were reading Luke, and it was chapter 10, and we read the story of the Good Samaritan. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm a bit thick when I'm reading the scriptures, and I don't always understand them, and I could read it 50 or 60 times, and then suddenly it lights up, and wow, I can see that. And it was right at the end of the story of the Good Samaritan that a little verse lit up, and it was this man had not only taken his first aid box out and bound up this man that was wounded and battered and put him on his own donkey and carried him in, sat up all night with him, looked after him, paid the innkeeper for 2 weeks' keep. But he said to the innkeeper, and if I owe you anything, I will pay you when I come again. And the light suddenly switched on that this man, who didn't know the person who'd been beaten from Adam, took total responsibility for his care and well-being for as long as it would take for him to recover. He could have had a relapse. He could have been there for 3 months, but he said, I'm going to pay for him. And it challenged our hearts, and we suddenly felt that we had abrogated our responsibility, that God had given the Church of Jesus Christ responsibility to look after these 30 people that were under the pier. And so we said, Lord, what do we do? And we felt the Lord say to us, what did he do? He put his hand in his own pocket. And so we felt the Lord say, you need to put your hand in your own pocket and begin to think about housing these people yourself. And so we said, Lord, we don't think that's a good idea. If we buy a house for them and we put alcoholics in there, we'll lose our money because they'll wreck the property and it'll go down in value. But like the Cana of Galilee marriage, when she said to him, whatsoever he says, do it, we felt that God was saying, whatsoever Jesus has said to you, you need to do. And I believe that the man at the Cana of Galilee marriage, when he took the jug of water, it was water until he poured it out to the head of the feast. And so we, in fear and trembling, put our hands in our own pocket. We cobbled together, between Vicky Woodley, Andrew and myself, £25,000. Someone told us about a property that was like Titanic on ground, because some of the property here was built so shoddily in the 1920s and 30s that it had begun to sink in the ground, and you couldn't get a mortgage on it. And we bought these 2 flats, and off we went. But let me tell you, it was a great success, but that's another story.